Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Lucian supplementary guide. Now this is actually a video that I've wanted to do basically since they introduced Kraken Slayer, all the way in like 3.2 or 3.2, yeah 3.2. But you know, I've been spamming Lucian. I think I played like 50 games of, not 50, that's an exaggeration, maybe like 30 plus games of Lucian, and for some reason, uh I just never really got a good gameplay video of Lucian. Like either I did well but it didn't quite show the power of Kraken Slayer, or I just didn't do well, like it was a bad match, or it was a really like even match, you know, the sort where you're like, you know, 9 and 9 for example. So I never really got a particular video to show you guys the power of the Kraken Slayer until now. So I finally got a gameplay for you guys so we can finally go over Kraken Slayer Lucian. Now, the build is still exactly the same, so if you want a more in-depth explanation on the build, you can look at the Lucian Updated Complete Guide. So, just briefly though, you go for the Storm Razor, which is now basically the best ADC item, although it's really not the best Lucian item, but just because of how strong it is, you still build it. 2 item power spike with the Infinity Edge, defensive boots into either Proto Belt or Zhonya's depending on what you need for that match. Bloodthirster as your 3rd item. Then you go for a Serralda's Grudge. Now, Serralda's Grudge and Bloodthirster are interchangeable. Some games you're into a very tanky team or you need to kite, you can go for the Serralda's Grudge first. Lastly, you go for the GA. GA can be replaced by Solari Charge Blade when it is down to give you 100% crit. So that's basically Lucian's build. Now the runes. Obviously Kraken Slayer. So Kraken Slayer, you gain stacks when you attack enemy champions, and on your 3rd attack you deal true damage, which as you can see is only 28 to 70, scales with bonus AD as well as AP. The reason why this works really well on Lucian is because every time you cast a spell on Lucian, he does a double auto attack with because of his Light Slinger passive. So basically this allows you to proc Kraken Slayer really often. So if you full combo, let's say you would E double auto, Q double auto, W double auto. So overall you would be getting in 6 autos as well as like 3 spells within a very short time frame, which would proc Kraken Slayer twice. So aside from that, you would just generally auto normally as well, in addition to your passive autos. So basically you can proc Kraken Slayer relatively often. So that's why it really works well on Lucian, and I'd say that probably Lucian and Akshan are probably the only two who can really viably take Kraken Slayers. I see a lot of like Master Yi's take Kraken Slayer, so maybe Master Yi can as well, but I'm not too sure about that. But basically Kraken Slayer versus Conqueror on Lucian. Kraken Slayer is much stronger than Conqueror in the early game, but doesn't scale very well. So basically when you reach mid to late game, Conqueror would generally be better for Lucian already. You wouldn't really be getting so much out of Kraken Slayer as compared to Conqueror. Now, I have tested this in the practice mode, like with various levels and various levels of build, and really Kraken Slayer is strong only at the beginning of the game, and Conqueror just basically becomes better later on in the game. So Hunter Vampirism, of course, is the domination rune you go for the lifesteal, and this being a basically early game focused build, you want to get the nullifying orb, so you can get that shield when you're in the laning phase. Now, increasingly, I'm becoming more and more of a believer in Nullifying Orb because it saved my life like countless times when I have like playtested it. So now I'm taking Nullifying Orb on a lot of ADCs, which I think is kind of like what most people take now. But don't underestimate the power of something like a Bone Plating or a Hunter Titan if you're in a matchup with a lot of burst or a lot of CC. Those will still save you as well. So lastly, you go for Hunter Genius. Obviously, Lucian caster ADC. He does need those cooldowns for him to be able to cast his spell, so that makes sense. And as usual, you have the flash and you have the exhaust. Don't think I need to really go too much into that, but with that, we can jump straight into the gameplay. Alrighty, so now we're getting into the gameplay itself. Now, as you guys can already tell by the length of the video, this isn't going to be a very long gameplay because the enemy team is going to be surrendering at like 10 minutes and 39 seconds. And if you are playing Kraken Slayer Lucian, by like 10 minutes you should have the game won. And what do I mean by that is that even if the enemy team doesn't surrender, you should be in a position that you can basically win the game already. Because if you haven't yet, you are gonna be falling off pretty hard. Now, Lucian already semi-falls off with the Conqueror build because Lucian is meant to be stronger in the early game and he does get outscaled in the late game. Of course, that's not to say that he doesn't do damage in the late game. When you get to like 3 or 4 items, you still do a ton of damage, but What I'm saying is that on other ADCs, for example, if you're like a Vayne or a Kai'Sa, you would probably be doing more damage than a Lucian. So what I'm trying to say is you will get outscaled. So you really want to try to have the game in a position where you can basically win the game already by like 10 minutes. That is like you're super duper fed, or your team has gotten like all the objectives that you're winning like pretty hard, that kind of thing. If not, going for Conqueror would just be better, and I wouldn't really recommend going Kraken Slayer against every single lane matchup. Now in this particular lane, Kai'Sa does get out-traded by Lucian. Now, I did get out-traded by Kai'Sa just now because she was able to proc her passive, but generally Lucian will be able to out-trade Kai'Sa. And Nami does trade very well against you. However, if I have a Leona who, if we all in, we should be able to get a kill or basically chunk them a whole lot. So yeah, I do want to be very aggressive in the laning phase. We do get a gank from the Jarvan of the Nami, who has gone to the river for a ward. I try to dash in, but Nami's a little bit out of my range. Of course, we do know Lucian, one of his weaknesses is the low range, so that is sort of an issue. But yeah, so basically if you're not into a very good laning matchup, I would suggest taking Conqueror like all the time, because Conqueror is just going to be a generally safer rune. Like Kraken Slayer, it's a very risky rune because you're playing on a timer, but at the same time you can push your advantage if you're into a so-called weaker laning matchup. So here we have a catch by Leona onto the Kai'Sa. Here you can see I'm proccing my Kraken Slayer once, twice already with that full combo with all of my 3 basic abilities. So that is where you can see the damage coming in from the Lucian. Really nice bubble by the Nami catching me in my Q animation, so it couldn't really dodge that. So we want to, of course, put the pressure in on Kai'Sa and Nami, and we want to be able to try to get a kill if possible. Leona goes in, and here Nami actually is the one that suffers the consequences. And I actually was able to proc 2 times Kraken Slayer on her because I double shot onto the Kai'Sa. So my third auto, which went into Nami, proc Kraken Slayer. Then I cast my W, which allowed me another double shot and another proc of the Kraken Slayer with another basic attack. So Nami just gets instantly bursted, and this is what I was referring to when I was talking about how Kraken Slayer is really, really strong in the laning phase. We got the double proc off of Nami, and she probably wasn't expecting all that much damage. So we got the kill on Nami, but the bigger part of the story here is that me and Leona still have Flash, I still have Exhaust. Nami has already used both her summoner spells, Kai'Sa has already used Barrier, so the only summoner spell left is Kai'Sa's Splash. So despite using all their sums, we still get away with the kill just because of how high damage Lucian is with the Kraken Slayer, and with that we can continue to push an advantage because we both still have Flash. We can play really, really aggressive, and if anything goes wrong, we can just flash our way out of there, whereas if they make a mistake, they're going to be in a lot more trouble than we are. So that we're in a very, very good spot at the moment, and this is of course you know, what you want to have if you're playing a Kraken Slayer Lucian. So here we're just basically going to try to be aggressive, but of course the enemy team, enemy bot lane, sorry, is not going to be that stupid. They're not going to just walk up and take free damage for no reason. We're going to have to try to catch them out. We're going to have to try to get in like procs of Kraken Slayer here and there wherever we can. So we are going to try to, of course, do that. Right, so here Leona tries to go in but gets caught instead, does get chunked a little bit, and that's sort of how the Enchanter versus the tank meta comes in. But either way, we do get the catch on the Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa goes down off the Jarvan ultimate as well. Jarvan ultimate actually pushed me back away from the Kai'Sa, so a little bit unfortunate, but we still get the kill, so no big deal there. And our team kind of wiping the floor with them at the moment. We got 3 kills pretty much simultaneously at a lot of the lanes, so we're doing pretty well. I'm back and get myself a Storm Razor for 1-0 and 1 at the moment. We're doing really well. 1 kill and 1 assist already within the first 4 minutes. Of course, it could be better, but hey, you know, if you're playing against a decent bot lane, you aren't going to be just getting kills, you know, non-stop. So I can't really ask for too much more in my opinion, but we can see that the dragon fight is going to be ongoing. Kai'Sa finds herself caught out by the Nami, by the Ahri, and just by everything. Leona picks up the kill, and we got a really, really nice pick onto the Kai'Sa right before the dragon, which pretty much gives us a huge advantage on doing the dragon, because we're definitely going to have a numbers advantage when it comes to the dragon. We are starting up the dragon, and Set it's actually, I think, starting up the Rift Herald based on what you see on the minimap. So here I'm trying to zone away the Orianna. Look at the huge burst from the Kraken Slayer on the Orianna. I know I'm not going to catch up to her because I don't have my dash anymore, so I'm going to go back and help my team out because Tryndamere is coming in to try for a steal. He doesn't quite get it, and I do get the kill on the Tryndamere as well. So here I'm pinging to go for a Rift Herald, reason being, we just killed the enemy jungler, Orianna is chunked out and probably has to recall. She didn't actually recall, she's actually in the mid lane, but either way, still a relatively good idea to go for the Rift Herald. I realized that Kai'Sa is going to push and get the first tower, so I hastily recall and try to dash my way back to the bot lane so I can defend the tower, because not too much use of picking up the Rift Herald if you can't use it to secure the first tower. Now, unfortunately for me, as you guys can see, Kai'Sa does manage to get the first tower. However, she is really overextended, so I pop my exhaust on and basically full combo her down and get the kill on her. Now, she's only worth 250 gold at this point, I think, because we killed her like 3 times, I think, already. So, actually, 2 times is it? Oh, 3 times, yeah, we killed her 3 times. She's 0 kills, 3 deaths, and 0 assists, so 0, 3, and 0. Not really good for the enemy team there. But yeah, so the enemy team does actually end up getting the Herald, but I do get the kill on Kai'Sa, and I do have to push in on bot lane. I get 1 plate, which is going to be really helpful for my snowballing. And I'm going to see if I can get anything else from the tower. Now, Kai'Sa has once again respawned, and she's trying to defend her tower. I'm just trying to get off a little bit of damage onto her. We don't quite know where the rest of the enemy team is, so we don't want to be overly aggressive. We now can see that the enemy jungler and mid are indeed at the mid lane, but we can see them kind of hovering towards the bot side. Like Tryndamere, I think he's taking the scuttle, so we can't really be overly aggressive. We don't quite know where the Nami is either, so Nami is kind of missing. So in the meantime, I'm just going to clear up the waves. Nami does show up, and we see Tryndamere kind of walking downward, so we don't want to overextend or even stay around the middle of the lane because we don't have our tower anymore, so we don't have any safety. We can easily get run down by the Tryndamere, so we're just going to back off. Now, of course, you do want to press your advantage as a Lucian, especially when I'm 3-0 and 2 with the Kraken Slayer. However, you obviously don't want to be getting yourselves into positions where you are going to be in trouble and going to get caught out. So here, I'm going to back and pick up the BF sword, building toward the IE, and I think I'm waiting on... No, I'm not actually waiting on anything. I'm just going to walk out of the base and head back over to the bot lane. So I really want to be taking that bot tower so I can basically free me up to kind of rotate around the map. But the enemy bot lane is kind of making it really difficult for me, which is of course good on their end. But I would have expected they would rotate to other lanes as well, but they didn't quite do that. Either way, we clear up the wave, and we're going to be going in to try to pick up this tower, and it appears that we're finally going to be able to do that. We can see Tryndamere and Nami on the roam from the mid lane, so we are aware that they are coming, so we are just basically just going to back off, and nothing too much comes of it except that we get the tower. So that's great. And Set also picks up a kill. So now we've all basically rotated over to the mid lane. Enemy team is also at the mid lane. It's kind of like a 3v3 at the mid lane. Kai'Sa is pushing in bot. We have Set who is pushing in top. Really nice catch onto the Orianna. And honestly, if Nami didn't hit both of her CC there, Orianna was definitely dead. Tryndamere tries to go in, gets bursted, but does have his ultimate. Here I ult to kill the Tryndamere, and I try to get damage onto Orianna as well, but she kind of just sidesteps it. Not very easy to hit the entire Lucian out all the time, especially when they're walking sideways, and you're walking sideways, and yeah, no one really has the movement speed advantage there. Alright, so now we are basically just all in mid lane. I nearly die, getting sniped by Kai'Sa's W, so don't quite die here, but Kai'Sa is in with the killer instinct, and I'm gonna just back away. I'm just gonna launch my W to connect onto the Kai'Sa so that I can get the assist on the Kai'Sa kill. But Kai'Sa ends up killing Leona basically between 2 towers as well somehow, but eventually she does of course go down, and I do actually get the assist, but that was a lot. Kai'Sa getting 2 kills there was pretty unexpected, which is of course good on her. Her first two kills of the game actually, and she does have her 2-item power spike already. So finally, kind of coming online. Kai'Sa does of course scale, so if we get late game enough, despite being so behind in the early game, she can viably come back and become a menace. So we don't want to let the game go on for too long. So here, I'm just going to push in the mid wave. I do think that the enemy team is on the Herald, but I don't want to just walk over there and face check. Turns out that they are not. It turns out they are actually on the Herald, just couldn't see it there. Didn't quite have the vision yet. So here Jarvan does manage to steal the Herald. Tryndamere does try to ult to get away, and I'm ulting over the wall to try to blast everybody. And we basically get all 4 of them here off of this Herald fight. And yeah, basically at this point the enemy team kind of realizes that they aren't gonna be winning the match. Herald in the mid lane to get ourselves the mid lane tower. Orianna gets ulted out, and basically the enemy team just proceeds on to surrender, which basically shows you how strong the early game Kraken Slayer Lucian can be if picked against the correct comp. So anyways guys, I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.